He said that 3 times. Does that mean we have no chance in hell?
If you said 3 times,
You're on. You're alive, boys.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of TFL Today, and we're coming to you from our studio, and we're going to be doing something special because we're going to have special guests on our show.
Cool! Am I a special guest?
Yes.
I'm excited. I love it.
Well, actually, you're more than a guest because we do a lot of testing together,
Yes.
towing, hauling, testing all kinds of trucks, drag racing.
We're like an old married couple.
But this TFL Today episode is all about Ask Mr. Truck.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions. We've prepared a few questions here, but when you're watching this, also please write down your questions live, and we'll try to answer some of them.
Okay.
How about that?
Sure. Don't write them down, Andre. You mean submit them.
Submit them.
Yeah,
type them down.
yeah,
type them down into the window.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no paper. There's no pens and paper here.
No.
I'll read them off to you when we see them.
Before we start, I have a question that we can answer at the end. Okay?
Okay.
And this show is about 30 minutes long. Okay?
Holy cow.
That's what we do Monday,
Okay.
Wednesday, and Friday. As long as most of us are here in the studio,
Yeah.
we'll be doing the live show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Here's the bonus question.
Okay. I'm ready.
Are V8 pickup trucks going extinct?
Well, I think...
Wait. Okay, answer that towards the end.
Okay.
Okay, so we have several questions that you guys submitted on our TFL Truck channel and our email ask@tfltruck.com. And the first one is this. Jason Newman asks, what is the best gasoline V8 in a heavy-duty truck? Is it the Nissan 5.6 liter, the new one in the XD Titan? Or is it the 6 liter in the Chevy Silverado GMC Sierra?
That's the heavy-duty one. That's
Yep.
2500.
Yep, the 6 liter.
That's not exactly the best comparison, but I understand the question. And the 6-liter, you can get a 410 rear end, which I like that. The transmission comes with that, and even though it's not an Allison, it's one of General Motors' best transmissions. They've got one of the lowest percentages of breakdowns on that transmission of any of them, warranty work. So I've always been impressed with that transmission, even though it's a 6-speed. The Nissan is what, a 7-speed? Or what is that?
Yeah, 7-speed with a 5.6 new engine.
Right, and that's the problem with that too. I mean, not a problem. The engine's good. I like that, but it's got like a 331 rear end or something. I mean, it's way different than the GM. And I've driven them both. I mean, I like the GM, but then you're going to a 3/4 ton, which is not going to cost you much on a gas engine comparison. So I would go with the GM. But the Nissan's the new kid on the block. The 7-speeds is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. The gear ratio is dead okay with it, but I think you're going to better power with the GM and that
Well,
6-liter.
How about this? How about I can ask the manufacturers to send us the gas trucks
Sure.
and see, if the manufacturers answer our call, we can test them on the iGauntlet.
Right, and
There'll be no question whatsoever after that.
And he's just asking about those two engines, but because in that class there's a lot of other V8s too.
Yeah.
You got Ram and Ford.
I personally like the new 5.6 and the Nissan Titan
Yeah.
and the half-ton.
So
Well, sure.
Ian's asking, can we make a video about different types of trailers?
Different types of trailers?
Yeah.
Of course, because
Yeah.
this is also Mr. Trailer.
Yeah, that trailer's a good question because that's hard to find answers for that, and that's what we try to do. That's why we have 7 test trailers. We try to find out. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm all for that.
Yeah, well, right now we have at least 3 trailers that we regularly use. We have the big 30-foot gooseneck Big Tex trailer,
Yeah.
3GN, 3XGN. And we have a 20-foot CM trailer, box cargo trailer, and we have a 14-foot stocker trailer. So, of course, we can do a lot more videos. Just tell us more specifically what you're looking for.
Yeah, Andre, my biggest question with the trailers is, are enough people going to watch it? Oftentimes people want us to do specific reviews just for their needs, and we want to do that, but it takes a lot of time, money, and energy to create a video, especially a review. And are you guys interested enough in trailers to do that? Is it interesting enough to compare the different types of trailers? It would take a lot of work, and I'm not sure it would get a lot of views. So I'd love to hear your comments on that, guys.
Yeah, and suggestions.
Yeah.
By the way, that's Roman Micah behind the camera. He's going to be reading the questions to us and monitoring the live feed as well.
People are asking, when will the second edition of Truck Nuts come out?
Tomorrow. No.
In your dreams.
Can we have the book, please? We want to, of course,
You know, Andre, here's the book.
Yeah.
That's a really good question, guys. We get probably a dozen emails a day, people asking questions about what truck they should buy, and we're to the point now where we can't answer them, but we have the answers, and it's right in Andre's hand. So if you guys are interested in what truck to buy, there's your answer right there. Everything these two men know about trucks is in that book.
Yeah, second edition's possible, but we got to recover from the staying up all night writing this one.
It was a lot of work to write this book. We put our hearts and our souls into this.
Yeah,
and of course there's all of your experience is in this book. New versus used, diesel versus gas, trailering. This is basically a complete truck guide for buying a new truck or just questions that you have about your own truck. And we also have some numbers in here from our testing on the iGauntlet and off-roading.
Right.
So it's really great.
There's no other book like it, and you can go to trucknutsbook.com and check it out.
Someone's asking, as far as trucks go for a high schooler about short commute, what truck should I get? What truck should you get? Get the book. It's in there.
Exactly. We talked about your first car should be a truck and what it is.
That question is exactly in the book. So if you want that answer, please get the book. I know it's easier to have these guys answer it, but there's so many questions. It's just much easier to have one book where all those answers are there.
But you have to have specifics. Do you need four-wheel drive? Do you need two-wheel drive? So as long as you have an idea of what you need, the answers are in the book and also on our channels as well, right?
Yes.
Someone wants to know if the Cummins 2500 is good for plowing snow. That would be Christopher. You want some?
Yes, but the Cummins engine is pretty heavy, right?
Right, but see, that pull your snowplow right where you want it. I think it'd be great because that helps with the front-wheel drive traction. Where
Right.
the plow is.
A lot of weight up front.
Yes, and those plow options will have bigger springs if you get a truck made for snowplows.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. I don't think it'd be a problem at all.
I think it'd be expensive to tow with that. I mean, to plow with that because it's going to
I
use a lot
actually-
more fuel.
When we went to Canada, Roman and I went to Canada to an FCA event, and I actually got to plow in the gas-powered 2500 Ram.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And they actually put 1,000 pounds in the bed behind the truck to kind of counterweight because the plow itself weighed like 800 or 900 pounds, sticking way out front.
Okay,
Yeah.
we only have 30 minutes for the show, Andre, so let's keep rocking those questions.
So where are we at on the minutes?
We're 10 minutes into it, so you got
Okay.
20 minutes. You
Ready
got a
for
bunch
number,
of
Okay,
questions.
number 2 over there.
We're doing great. So and the next question we've prepared has to do with the brand new 8 speeds and 10 speeds. I mean,
All downhill performance.
yeah,
That's
downhill
right.
performance. So we've tested trucks on the iGauntlet, which is our world's toughest towing test because we go
Yeah.
all the way up to 11,158 feet above sea level. And we tested the brand new 2017 F-150 with a 10-speed.
Uh-huh.
And we also had the 2017 Chevy Silverado with an 8-speed.
Yeah, and that downhill part, the part we do with the brake events, that surprised all of us. We thought the 10-speed would do better because you got all those extra gears. You're hoping it holds. And 10 events, I was surprised. And in General Motors, 11 events with that 6.2 and the 8-speed. So on that 4, the only thing I can figure out after thinking about it is that with that many gears and it shifts so smoothly that you don't have enough RPM band in each gear, because it takes some RPM band when you're doing tow haul mode, you want to downshift, and the more RPM band you have, I think the better it holds you. I mean, I didn't think of that before. I thought the 10-speed would do better, and I was shocked, but that's my explanation, is like a 6-speed has more RPM band, same with the 8-speed. I don't remember doing that bad last year, but I know the 6-speed, has done well on that. And that's all I can say about that. We are going to ask Ford, but and GM. Whenever you ask the engineers questions, it takes forever to get an answer out of them.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing.
Or
I
you
can
get
come
like
up
a
with.
whole book of answers.
Yeah, and
thrown.
that's what I'm thinking. Is it's all about the RPMs, and I don't know if we can do
Guys,
something.
We just had a comment saying that we should team up with Mr. Truck's YouTube channel for that trailer video, but I think you've got a lot of trailer videos on your channel, don't you, Ken?
Well, we do, and we do trailer accessories and
Yeah.
all that stuff because it is important.
Tie downs.
Yeah, and it's hard to find. And we've done openings on the new test trailers we have at TFL, and so that video is somewhere. We're talking about those 3 types.
Yes. We also done a video on summarizing your trailer, like an RV trailer, for example.
Yeah, we've done winterizing, we've done a bunch of those things, and it doesn't get as many hits as a truck review, but I mean, if enough people want to do it, I mean, I think I'd be all for it, but it's whatever works.
Yep. I had one comment to make about the downhill performance.
Yeah.
We let the truck sort of figure this thing out on the downhill itself.
Right.
In tow haul mode, right? But a customer out there, a regular guy, they could manually shift the truck too.
Sure, and
right?
that's a good point to bring up because that's how I would probably do it. But we're trying to be as fair as we can to let the machines perform.
Yeah, the computer in the
But-
truck handles everything.
You guys got a shout out from Norway?
Hey, Norway!
Whoa, Norway! Where the hell's
Do
Norway?
they even have heavy-duty trucks in Norway?
I'm sure they
sure
do.
they do. They got
and they
ice.
have giant tires to go over
chains,
the
a
snow.
lot of chains.
People want to know, would an electric truck work for towing? Well, the Tesla Model X can tow, so a truck could tow too, yeah. It'd just be heavy.
Yeah, you think about it, electric motors, I mean, that's what trains run on. That's what
Yeah.
these big equipment run on. It's a diesel generator running an electric motor. And in the moon buggy had electric motors, but the electric motor is like my hybrid car. It's 100% torque, so I don't see why not. All I got to do is get the right combination together.
Ooh, hello from Morocco now.
Oh my goodness, Morocco.
Morocco, hello.
Is that near Norway?
No,
All right, Mason wants to know, what's the most comfortable truck seat?
I have an answer. Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I do. It's a weird one because I like the GM seats, but like the steering wheel's offset toward the door, the seat's offset toward the other door. So it sits cockeyed to me, but it's a very comfortable seat. It actually has like a memory foam in it. When that came out last year, I really liked that. Maybe it was a 15 model it came out with, but I really liked that seat. But
Mine is the F-150, the new one. I also like the soft,
It's a massaging seat. You
Yes.
like having your butt massaged.
and also the soft headrest where you can kind
Oh.
of put your head down, back,
Yeah.
and relax.
You got a shout out from Jupiter
Jupiter.
Jupiter, is that near Norway?
and Chile.
Is that in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, can we move on to? We have one other question we prepared.
Okay.
and we can also answer a lot of your
There's
questions.
a lot of questions coming up, so once you get to your prepared one, and then I'll give you more.
All right. By the way, the last question about the transmissions came from Edward Hogan, so thank you, Edward. The next question is from Matt Schroeder, and he has a specific question about Chevy Z71 off-road package
Right.
and how that handles the on-road performance. He understands that it's meant for off-roading, but how does those trucks handle on-road?
I know originally he said he wanted to ask Nathan that, and
Yes.
I think we should be ask Andre that.
Okay, we have plenty of opinions, but what do you think?
I like it. I mean, it's all about that nose piece with the ZR2 or the Z71
What, the
2.
chin
It's rid of the
spoiler?
chin spoiler.
Yeah.
So I really like that idea. But off-road performance, that's what holds you down is that. But it does very close to the other off-road trucks in the mid-size class.
Mm-hmm.
If you got rid of the chin spoiler, I mean, you got the right kind of shocks, the right kind of tires, the right kind of skid plates. But
So,
what's your opinion on that?
well, here's my philosophy on off-road packages and focused trucks on road. I think they ride better on road, actually. I don't think there's any compromise of on-road performance because the suspension is a little softer.
Yeah.
The shocks are tuned to handle the bumps and imperfections off-road. So I think those trucks actually ride better on road. For example, the Ram Power Wagon, the new one.
Yeah.
I think it's a really comfortable truck on the street.
Well, sure, and so is the Raptor.
Yeah, the
But
Raptor is great.
I was surprised with the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. I took that out in my friend's ranch and
Yeah.
just ran all over the place. I thought that thing rode better off-road than it did on-road.
So
and
it's
that's-
meant for that, yeah.
So the next question is, we've got that massive towing video that you guys did, taking the 3 dualies up the Ike Gauntlet
Yes.
that's up on TFL Truck right now, and people want to know if you were surprised that the Duramax did so well.
Well, there was a lot of surprises. Can you talk about the surprises?
Yeah, that one, and what was interesting with the Chevy dually, that was at maximum capacity. We were like almost 23,000 towing. We were maximum payload. So we were taking that truck all the way to the highest rating it has.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird not to see the Ford perform and the Dodge. I think the Ram did well. But Ford, with all that extra power and extra capacity, I mean, that thing, if you configure it right, is 32,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And we were only pulling 23,000 pounds. I thought it would run up like a race car.
Yeah, like
but
a
it
rocket.
didn't. And we don't know, I don't know if it's a problem with that truck or what it is, but that was all a big surprise and how everything spaced out that way. And I was really impressed with the GM. That's probably the highest score I ever gave it on that gauntlet. And I was really impressed with it. But did everything right. But go ahead.
Talk about the downhill performance on the Chevy and a little bit also on the Ford and the Ram. It was performing better than what we expected, right?
Yeah, better probably than our past tests. Going down the hill, Ram had, 4 events? Is it 4 or
Three.
5? 3?
Yeah.
I know it did really well without anything special other than what they've always had. The same exhaust brake, the tow haul mode. And of course, on the Chevy and the Ford, you put them in cruise control, and they just take over, and it would never even brake. But we didn't do that. We did all of our normal systems,
Counting the brake application. Yeah.
And both of them, and the Chevy, it really amazed me. I don't know if they turned up the boost so that you had more exhaust brake when it closed up.
Yeah, the variable vanes.
Yeah,
in the
so
turbo.
there's something going on there, or if it has something to do with line pressure in the transmission. But when we hit that thing, I mean, it wanted to stop. I mean, every time we hit the brake hard on that, we actually had to speed up. And same way with the Ford, it did the same thing. The Chevy was more abrupt, which surprised me because usually Chevy goes out of the way to be smooth, and this thing was engaging. When we were hitting 23,000 pounds, hitting the brake,
shifting hard.
Yeah, well, it shifted down, and then it just wanted to slow all the way down. I mean, you got to 40 miles an hour, I had to speed up. And the Ford did something very similar to that. So everything was weird about that test. But, I mean, those things, my gosh, it makes you feel so good in the mountains pulling that kind of weight, knowing that your truck can stop you without you being just the perfect guy on brakes and feathering all that in.
There's a discussion going on about whether there's going to be a Sierra or Chevy 1500 with a diesel. And as far as I know, Chevy has said nothing, I mean, not even a breath of it, a news about a diesel in the half-ton truck.
Well, you know, they had such success with the mid-size diesel.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, I wouldn't know why they wouldn't do it, especially now it's Ford's going to do it. You've already got Ram involved, Ram, Ford. Why would GM want, well, I don't know how they do it. It's just like, why would they want to stay at 23,000 pounds on a dually when everybody else is 30,000 pounds? I don't know why they're doing that.
There's no spy videos of it. There's no testing that we've seen.
No, not yet.
There's nothing, not a breath of. So, guys, I think that's a rumor out there that makes sense, like Ken said, but I don't believe that there's going to be a half-ton diesel.
Well, they would tease us for 3 years if there was.
Right.
That's
We
how
would
they did
have
on
to
the
wait
other
a
one.
very
the
long
hood scoop
time.
we saw years ago. And it took
There are
forever.
spy shots of the 2019 half tons running around completely masked and camouflaged, but I don't think anybody has looked underneath a truck yet to see exactly what it has.
And a lot of people are asking us to review very specific trucks, like the Tacoma with the manual transmission. A lot of people want base trucks. Andre, what's the problem with reviewing very specific base trucks? Why can't we do it?
Actually, we can't. We have a Final Frontier project, which we have for 6 months. So we actually have a base truck that we can do more stuff with.
No, but why can't we do other trucks that are specific like that?
Well, we get most of our trucks, almost all of our trucks, from the press fleets. And we request trucks, but it's usually, if it's not in the press fleet, we can't usually get it. Because
bastards.
well, no, it's not that, but because manufacturers have a specific, build. They build the trucks the way they want them, and they're usually loaded.
Well, yeah, they want to make money. All those options
features.
make money.
Yes.
You sell a base unit. That's why the Ranger went away, because it was mostly sold as a base unit, and they didn't make much money on it. And so they finally decided to get rid of it, and that was the main thing. That's why the Ranger's no longer here till 2 years.
Lots of questions, boys.
Okay. How are we doing on time? Are we doing okay?
We got another 10 minutes left, so let me get through all these questions that people are asking.
I have a bonus question at the end, so we don't forget that.
I'll leave you time for that. People want to know what's better off-road, the Ram Rebel or the Raptor?
I have kind of a comment on this.
Well, I mean, the Raptor is incredibly better, I would say.
Weren't you just bashing it? Weren't you just out there bashing it in the weeds?
Well,
Ken?
yeah, I was comparing the Power Wagon with the Raptor, and that was, I think, a better choice. The Rebel, the only thing big about it is it's got airbags that go up an inch.
Yeah, an
I
extra
mean,
inch.
for as far as an off-road
It's basically
advantage.
an appearance package.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's not really
a Rebel, I would
competition.
compare the Rebel more towards like a Chevy Z71 or a Ford FX4.
Right,
Or
where it's mostly skid plates and shocks and just a few things. Maybe
some
tires.
extra shocks,
Yeah.
skid plates, and hill descent control.
Yeah.
I think a Raptor is at the next level.
Right, it's against the Power Wagon, and that Rebel's selling very well. People really like it, but I wouldn't compare it to the Raptor.
All right, people want to know about the different transmissions. First of all, they want to know, is an 8-speed or a 10-speed better?
Then something else?
Then 6-speed,
Than
I
a
suppose.
6-speed, yeah.
Well,
Very good, Ken. You saw it coming.
I like more gears the better. I mean, I drove an 18-wheeler for a while that was an 18-speed, and I liked that. But, I mean, I'm all for gears. But, there's a few things they need to tweak on them to, like the grade shifting we talked about, why we don't understand that. But, that is so smooth on the Ford. And I love when the 8-speed came out in GM with the 6.2 and a half ton, the 1500, it was so much better than that 6-speed before that. The 6-speed didn't map right or something, but it would drop all your torque curve before you shifted each gear. It was horrible. Even though it did well, it just didn't make sense. But their 8-speed, when they came out with that was so nice. That was like night and day difference in how that handled. And I like the 10-speed from Ford. I just want to see them tweak that grade shifting a little bit on it.
Hey, Andre, this is a good one. What's your favorite off-road package? And they're talking about ZR1. Is it
Z71,
Z71,
FX4,
FX4, TRD Pro? What's your favorite one?
I have an answer. It's FX4 for me, and there's a couple of reasons. First, value. So if you're looking at like a Super Duty or an F-150, they both offer FX4 packages. On the Super Duty, $295.
Really?
And you get Rancho shocks. Yeah, I think they're Rancho. Anyway, you have special shocks, skid plates,
different tires,
a differential lock in the rear, and hill descent control. And I think that's a great value for $300.
Yeah.
And the truck rides a little bit better on the street, performs a little bit better off-road. That's my answer. Do you have a favorite?
Well, no, it's a big heavy. Well, what we played with today out there, the Nissan Frontier, that's a Pro 4X.
Yeah.
I like that in the Titans. I thought that was impressive. We went off road down there at the proving ground. So I don't know. That's, to me, they're all very similar. And it's just an add-on to this package. It doesn't give you a whole lot, but gives you enough to to play a little more on the weekends. So.
Yep.
Good. All right. People want to know, Andre, have you bought a new truck yet?
I have not. I still have my 2002 Chevy Duramax 2500. It still runs good, and I really want to buy a new truck, but I have a problem. Whenever I hear about the next thing coming out, like the 2018 F-150 with a updated Coyote V8 and a 10-speed, I'm like, ooh, maybe I should wait for that and wait for the 2018, or should I get, this truck? So I can't make up my mind, and that's where it is.
Well, it's hard as a journalist because we get new trucks every week. So we have plenty of trucks to play with. So, like my truck, I hardly have any miles on it. It's a 2012, and I bet I don't even have 30,000 miles on it. Because, it just gets used for special things.
This one's for you, Ken. Are the V8 trucks good for towing?
Yeah, I think so.
And this dovetails into our bonus question, actually.
Sorry, the 5-liter V8.
5-liter, yes. Yeah. Actually, I like. Last year it won its contest, and it did such good grade shifting and power up the Ike. So no, there's nothing wrong with that. I just am ready for them to come out with a turbo on that 5-liter. I think it's going to happen.
Ooh.
If they don't get rid of
A
it,
Coyote with a turbo.
I think so.
Twin turbo Coyote.
I talked to an engineer once, and he probably doesn't work there anymore. But he told me that a 5-liter.
Does he talk to you?
Yes, he talks to me. with two turbos would outperform the diesel. And he says, well, they don't want to take away their diesel market, so they're not going to build it, but they have tested it. So I'm like, yeah, 5-liter with twin turbos.
Rusty wants to know, when will the ZR2 hit the showroom?
I've heard April, May. We really wanted to have it in our comparison this year for off-road trucks, and Chevy just told us it's not available yet. And
yeah,
so
I'm dreaming about
still
that
coming.
truck. That truck really looks like the
front and rear
cat's
lockers.
meow, yeah.
People want to know, why is Big Green behind you guys?
Because it's our project, and it's awesome.
Where else would we put it?
Well, so there is a reason why it's here. It's that box and crate in the bed. I don't know if you can see that behind
see
me.
it. Yeah.
But that's our brand new engine from Chevy Performance.
ZZ6.
It's a ZZ6
Yeah.
350 with 405 horsepower.
There's two in that box, right? It's a giant box.
Oh, just one
It's
engine.
just one
And
engine.
if we leave it outside, that box may disappear.
So we're very protective of this crate engine because we're gonna start our upgrade engine swap, and it's actually, the box is big because it's a turnkey. So
Yeah.
all the accessories come with the
Right,
engine. So
alternator.
Here's
and all
another
that
one
stuff.
for Mr. Truck. Would you recommend the F250? This is from Jason, with the diesel or the gas?
Well, see, again, that's one of those questions where you got to have all those particulars.
And you should tell him what your personal truck is.
Yeah, my 250 has a gas engine.
There you go.
6.2, and I love it. But if you are pulling trailers all the time, then get the diesel. And I used to pull trailers more often. I used to pull bigger trailers, and now I'm instead of pulling 16,000-pound trailers, I'm pulling 12 and less. So the gas made more sense, and making that extra payment on another $8,000 didn't make me happy. So I thought this is the way to go. But I go back and forth between diesel and gas, and you need a reason for the diesel. A lot of people don't, just like we talk about in the book. They buy it for the power. So I can't tell you what to do, but it's not very cost effective if you're not really using it to pull the trailer.
Thomas keeps asking this question, and I'm going to shut you down, Thomas. He wants us to compare the Frontier to the Base Sentra, cheapest car versus cheapest truck.
How do we compare
Why?
them?
Why?
Do we
Why?
jump them off a ramp?
Put a hitch on both of them? I don't know.
Sorry, Thomas.
So really quickly,
that would be a hard no.
really quickly, we have to get to our bonus question. In the beginning of this show, I've asked you, are V8 pickup trucks going extinct? Are they disappearing? Are they dinosaurs?
we're back.
What's your answer?
We're back to that crystal ball. I don't know. I think they probably will. Ask the guys who built carburetors, and that was their main thing. All of a sudden, they didn't think fuel injection was going to catch on. Guess what? Same guys with manual transmissions and trucks and clutches. They thought that would go on forever. Guess what? So I would say there's a chance of them disappearing because, you know, Ford's really leaning on those V6s, those turbo, those EcoBoosts. But I don't know. That's why I've got 3 project trucks. They all have V8s. So that if you want a V8, get a project truck, rebuild it, keep it forever, and see what happens because it's all about supply and demand. If they come out with something that gets 100 miles to the gallon, people will switch. They won't care if it's a V8 or a V1 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys,
So you're looking like 10 or 20 years down the line, right?
Yeah, at some point they won't be around. Just like everything goes in phases. Like with some of these fuel crises we've had, we've gone from V8s to 4 cylinders with turbos. All that stuff happens, and it's not our control. I don't see it happening real soon because people do have a love affair with V8s. But like I said,
do.
and you can always do that. Get your project truck like I did.
So I want to get our viewers' opinion that's on this. Right now, we've got 5 off-road trucks that we're comparing for the Gold Hitch Awards for the most off-road worthy. But we've noticed that you guys love to see the drag races that we do, so we've been doing a lot of drag races. And the 5 trucks are, Andre, what are the 5 trucks?
The 2017 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X,
Yeah.
2017 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, 2017 Nissan Titan Pro 4X, 2017 Raptor, and the 2017 Power Wagon.
So the question is, should we do all 5 in a straight-up drag race on dirt, or should we do bracket racing, which would be Frontier versus Tacoma, Raptor versus Titan, and then the winner of that takes on the Power Wagon. So would you like to see all 5 go straight in a drag race in a dirt road, or would you like to see a bracket race? Oh, everybody says all 5 at once.
We
People
can
wanna
take
see
them
all
up.
5 at once.
Let's take them up Pikes Peak. That's a paved road.
5 wide,
Yeah.
5
Well,
wide.
no, you're not. You guys are gonna be way behind me, so that'd be plenty of room.
All right, I think it's settled, Andre. All 5 on a dirt road.
People are saying 5 on
Yeah.
dirt.
That's
on,
a big
on
dirt road.
That's a big dirt
You're,
road,
you're,
boys.
you're talking about
Okay.
landing area for airplanes.
Well,
They make those.
how
too,
about the
dirt
area we
roads.
were this morning? It's wide enough, and there's a section there that's long
Oh
enough.
yes, yes.
You know,
for 0 to
at,
60.
at the
yeah.
IMI Motorsports.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think there's enough width
Okay.
there.
So, and Kyle keeps asking this question, so let's go back to it. Will we review a Tacoma with a manual transmission? And the answer is probably we won't, because we can't get that truck. We don't have the ability to just pick up the phone and get the trucks that we want. There's only
And-
certain trucks in the press fleet, and I promise you, there are no manual trucks in the press fleet.
I drove a manual transmission TRD Pro in Hawaii. That was an amazing event
Yeah.
that Toyota invited TFL Truck to. And I compared a manual
We have a video
TRD
of that.
Pro
Yeah.
with a video on our channel versus an automatic. Of course, I only had like 1 hour to come up with this video, so it's a little bit rushed, but I tried to give you guys all of the information that I could, so you can check that out.
There's a really great question, and actually I know the answer to this one. How soon will they refresh the Titan? And actually, I've talked to the Nissan folks, and I think that this is, of course, not set in stone, but if you know the Titan Warrior concept truck that we saw in Detroit a few years ago, it's going to look more like that, and they're rushing the refresh because I'm sure the sales aren't as great as they were hoping.
Yeah, the
Well-
truck just came out. Actually, was it a 2-year-old truck?
Yeah, but
Nobody
in the next
would.
2 years, they're looking to make it more like the Warrior concept.
Well, the Warrior was really macho, and it was, of course, it was widened, it was
Yeah,
taller.
it looked awesome.
So it was kind of like a cross between a Power Wagon and the Raptor,
Yeah.
because it was an XD-based diesel, 5-liter V8 Cummins. Well, that's cool, but Titan sold about, 3,300 trucks last month, which is
Well,
not quite...
That's more than they have in a while.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
way
an
more
improvement.
than the previous generation, but it's still not enough to fight against Toyota, Ram, Chevy, and Ford.
Yeah.
People want to know if we're going to test the Raptor up the Ike. And tell them the issue with that, Andre.
So there's a couple of issues, and I actually wrote a story about this on TFLtruck.com. when you have a focused off-road rig like a Raptor or a Power Wagon, you're actually losing your payload and towing capabilities
Right.
because of this. Are you all right?
Yeah.
You have a little bit of a voice.
Whiskey, need whiskey. But that's the thing about those is, like the Ford Raptor, whenever you lift a truck, it makes the whole dynamics and, the geometry different. And it's the same thing with, oh, thank you, sir.
That would be water, Kent.
Oh,
Just what?
what am I going to do with this?
So we have a super cab Raptor available
Hey.
to us. It's not a crew cab. So a super cab 2017 Raptor is rated at
6,000
pounds towing, and it has the most powerful engine in the production pickup truck. So with 6,000 pounds, it's just gonna run away up the mountain,
Right.
with no issue whatsoever. So I don't think that's as much.
Yeah, the crew cab's 8,000 pounds, but
Yeah.
we don't have a crew cab. And it all those lifted trucks, like even the Power Wagon, we were talking about that, why it's only 10,030 versus 12 or 15 or whatever, like the 6.4.
Yeah.
And it has to do with being lifted and the fact that the rear coils are single rate, where on a heavy duty 2500, it's a variable rate. So that it compresses and gets stiffer as you get more load on it. So that one doesn't have that. So
boys,
there's limits.
We're out of time. Andre, why don't you tell them when we're going to be doing the show? Kind of when we're trying to do it every week?
Yeah, so with the TFL Today show, like we said in the beginning, it's going to be 3 times a week as long as most of us are in the studio. If we travel to events sometimes, so sometimes we cannot do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we're trying to do that at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you can come back on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday for more of these live shows. We're going to have other guests. We're going to do more Ask Mr. Trucks. And we try to invite industry people like tuners, truck tuners, and car tuners.
Yeah, let's try to get Harvey next week.
Yeah, Harvey is a great guy who's specializing in Mitsubishi Evolutions, right? And Subarus?
Yep.
Is that right?
2 Subarus, yeah.
And he does Volkswagens also and Nissans, GTRs.
We should get hot chicks who drive trucks.
Yeah,
That'd be a great live show.
That would be a great
I'll
special
even be here for that.
special guest.
Yes.
Yes. So that's what we're trying to do every week, 3 shows a week.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you,
you.
gentlemen, and see you on Monday. Ciao.
Yep.
Later.
Thanks.